99% of musicians don't know that this is better than a record deal. Labels have strong branding and big rosters, which means people give them more attention and respect as a tastemaker. And this makes musicians fixate on getting record deals. But management companies actually do way more for careers most of the time. But most people don't realize this. I started seeing this shift well over a decade ago, and it's just been becoming more and more of a trend, and it's kind of funny that everyone focuses on the record label still. When I'm consulting with bigger artists, we spend most of our time working with booking agents and creative directors more than the label half the time. People are constantly asking me what labels even do these days, and yeah, a lot of them do a good amount, but honestly, the manager's usually doing the heavy lifting. The next generation of really good business minds who break artists are probably going to be on the management side, not the label side. Is the success of musicians in the algorithm just based on luck? Luck in the music world isn't just a random chance like so many people think. When people say an artist just got lucky, they're often missing the intentional actions that created those opportunities. Lady Gaga didn't just get lucky meeting industry people. She was a regular at the top bars where every meeting I was going to happened in the music business. She put herself right in the middle of where decisions were being made. You can increase your odds of getting lucky through intentional action. Put yourself in music cities where opportunities happen more often. Show up consistently in spaces where industry connections are made. Go out alone and strike up conversations. I do it all the time. Sure, bad luck exists, but you can actively create situations where opportunity is more likely to find you. Success isn't about waiting for luck, it's about putting yourself where it can happen more often. Why AI art is not the future of music marketing, and you should not buy into it. Let's get real here. AI is being sold as the future of music marketing, but it's the biggest grift going for these losers. Sure, it can analyze data like email conversion rates and do great things with accounting, but for creative tasks, it is still absolutely worthless. I keep seeing artists showing up with AI-generated marketing plans that are quite generic, uncreative, and garbage. A music business veteran just showed me ChatGPT suggestions for marketing an angry song, which would have gotten them kicked off TikTok because of the crimes it breaks. That's the problem. AI can't think about real-world implications, human emotions, what humans actually resonate with, or synthesize new ideas. It's no better than those agency losers who design by committee until everything's as boring as possible. If you're buying what they're selling about AI being more intelligent than humans for creative tasks, you're getting played. Where's the line between selling out and supporting yourself financially as a musician drawn? I'm kind of shocked when musicians still are concerned with selling out when monetizing their work, but this concern I think is largely outdated. I see a lot of you in my comments thinking it's still a very big concern. The reality is different now. Everyone knows musicians are underpaid and should take opportunities where they can get them. Putting your songs in commercials, selling products and merch, and launching Patreon or paid subscriptions isn't cringe. It's what we know you all need to do to survive at this point. Fans understand that artists need to make a living. Now, there's still lines you shouldn't cross, like grifting your fans with sketchy meme coins. And sure, you don't want to be in a United Healthcare commercial or team up with people who are canceled for good reason. But for the most part, the concept of selling out barely exists anymore. If you think you can't get put on a Spotify editorial playlist because you don't have enough monthly listeners, you're wrong. I always hear from you all. Oh, I'm never gonna get on a playlist. I only have 1,000 monthly listeners or less. This couldn't be further from the truth if you actually click around a lot of the playlists that are the ones that add new artists before they get to the biggest editorial playlists. Artists with just a few thousand monthly listeners or even a few hundred get featured on influential editorial playlists. I've even spotted some with as low as 200 monthly listeners near the top of these playlists. Don't let your current listener number count stop you from submitting or losing hope. Remember, these playlists are being cured by tastemakers and early adopters. I even recently clicked through one of these on my members only feed, and I showed how many artists have only a few hundred or few thousand monthly listeners on some of the most influential ones. Is it worth it for you to compete in song competitions nowadays? Here's the deep dark truth. Competitions mean less than they ever have, unless they are a very good financial reward. Celebrity judges often just get an email with the finalists and barely spend time reviewing them. I know. I've been chosen to be one many a time. Often the prize is something like a gift certificate, energy drinks, or a record deal with a label that's going to do nothing for you and you won't be a priority at. That said, if the prize is actual money or equipment, it could be worth your time. Some artists have won contests and sold the prizes and bought equipment they actually want. It's in a lot of artists' origin stories. But what's much more important is the influential sites that put you against other artists these days. Platforms like On the Radar or similar outlets that put emerging artists on the map to be be way more influential when you're looking for things like this and you think you got the talent that if people just hear, they'll really recognize. Don't expect competitions to be the biggest deal in your career because your expectations are going to be let down most of the time. Online courses are the dumbest way for you to spend your money as a musician. If you think buying a course is going to change your life and make you blow up as a musician, you're most likely wasting your money. I've had something like 4,000 conversations with different musicians in the last 5 years about how they've built their careers, and not a single one has ever said, "Wow, this course really helped me." All this information is usually free on YouTube already. These paid courses almost all the time just scrape that content and package it up. 9 times out of 10, these music marketing courses are complete bullshit with fake testimonials and now tons of AI slop that isn't even accurate. They all have never-ending countdown timers that reset once you go away from the website and paid for media mentions. If you want to protect yourself, just do some basic Google searches to see if they've even been on the websites they claim to be on, because most of the time they haven't, or check Trustpilot reviews or look up the person's name on Reddit. Save your money and vet anyone you're going to actually give it to. Adam Mosseri, Instagram CEO, just revealed why your Reels could be performing worse than your TikToks. TikTok and Instagram Reels are not built the same. This is something we've been saying for a long time. Both platforms weigh seconds of watch time differently to determine the performance of your video. Instagram's head Mosseri just revealed that the algorithm weighs actual seconds viewed, not just percentage of full video watched.
If you watch 10 seconds of a minute-long video, that is just as many seconds as if it was 10 seconds of a 10-second video.
TikTok operates differently in how it calculates this engagement. This is important because it changes how you should approach content length on each platform. On Instagram, you shouldn't worry about making shorter videos just to increase completion rates. Instead, focus on creating compelling content of whatever length best tells your story. There's never been a better time to be a creative than now.
Today is the best day in human history to be a creative person. And tomorrow will be the best day in human history to be a creative person. And that is going to continue. Creative tools are more ubiquitous and cheaper than they've ever been. It is easier to find people that want to see or listen to your work than ever before in human history. That was not a thing 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And it was not available to a 12-year-old kid growing up in their bedroom in the middle of the country somewhere.
I agree with what Jack says, but with one important caveat. You will not be as well compensated as creators have been in the past. And that is my eternal gripe with where we're at with creativity right now. Despite this challenge, you definitely have more advantages and opportunities to get ahead, and the tools have never been better to create as a musician. It's easier to reach an audience than ever before. You just need to learn the necessary skills and have good instincts for making songs that people actually want to hear and rinse and repeat. You're not playing the same game as your favorite artist.
Jesse Cannon, music marketing strategist, explains how musicians go from 0 to millions of fans.
What small artists don't understand is that your favorite artist is an established brand, and you two are not on the same playing field. The marketing recipes for Tate McRae and Sabrina Carpenter won't work for you because you're not working with the same terms. You're trying to get people to give you attention for the first or maybe third time and build a deeper relationship with you. And they're trying to keep people thinking about them and talking about them to their friends as much as possible by doing more things that get people talking. Now, your goals are similar in that way, and that you should be trying to do that, but the techniques are totally different, and so many of you are failing because you're using those big artist techniques instead of the techniques that work to build you up. Their content works because they're retaining fans, not finding them. When you're still building an audience, you need different strategies. One's designed to connect you with the people who are most likely to like your music style and most likely to like new artists who do it. A lot of people don't adopt new artists early on in their career. They wait till everybody else says it's cool. We want to be finding you those people. There's a big debate over whether music degrees are actually worth it, but there's a reason a lot of people pursue them. Aside from education-based courses like law, medical, and engineering school, music college is a different story than a lot of education. And here's what they don't tell you. Most colleges are getting you a social circle that sets you up for the rest of your life. And I don't care what degree it is, that's usually the case. But with music schools, oftentimes you can learn the curriculum online, and what you're really paying for is the network. My friends who attended the Manhattan School of Music, for example, regularly works with world-class musicians. Everyone from Beck session players to Nora Jones Band, they all know each other from school. I see this in my own career too. Decades later, I'm still working with and collaborating with people I met during my college years in New York and New Brunswick, New Jersey. Your college years are simply the best opportunity for forming industry relationships. The connections you make during these years become your professional network for decades. And I hear from people all the time that this value is often more valuable than what they taught in school. Despite what you're hearing or your friends may say, Hit songs this year actually averaged 3 minutes and 40 seconds, up 20 seconds from the previous year's 3 minutes and 20 seconds. That's almost double the 2-minute songs everyone keeps claiming are taking over the charts. Yes, there was a minor trend of songs skipping bridges or third choruses a few years ago, but this was never the majority of popular music. This myth is actually hurting artists who cut climactic elements from their songs in a misguided attempt to following a trend that doesn't even exist. When you check any major playlist, you'll see most successful songs still follow traditional length patterns. What frustrates me is seeing artists make creative decisions based on total BS. Major labels are manufacturing fan activity, so should you too? AstroTurfing is the music industry's open secret, creating the illusion of organic popularity by orchestrating what appears to be spontaneous fan activity and enthusiasm. Major labels and major management companies have all these people running fan pages that appear to be passionate listeners. And yeah, AstroTurfing is everywhere. When Gail's ABCDEFU went viral, internet detectives discovered the random fan who promoted the TikTok was actually an Atlantic Records marketing employee. A lot of the artists who stay off the grid and don't post much are using AstroTurfing, using fan and influence accounts to promote their music. If that's you, or you have certain content that feels weird posting on main, like who you're dating, or other things like interviews you do where you want to share numerous clips, make some sock puppets and let it spread the word about you. But to do this, you need to create fan accounts that can't be traced back to you. This means using separate devices, VPNs, and tactics that appear authentic. And if you want to watch a masterclass on how to do AstroTurfing right, I go into full detail in my newsletter. You need to touch grass if you still think major labels control the entire music industry. Seriously. This is silly. One of the largest misconceptions that I see on here all the time by people who haven't done any actual research but they got a vibe is that the major labels still control everything. Have you ever looked at the roster of a major labels page and seen how many artists they have that have been on the roster for years and have never blown up? Then if you go to a tool like Chartmetric, let's say, and look at the composition of the charts or your favorite playlist, it's not controlled by major labels most likely. You can go too viral, and I have proof. Look at what happened with Brendan Abernathy. His tippy-toed dancing out in California cringe moment hit over 100 million views on TikTok, if not over 200 million, but that only converted to 80,000 streams in about 16 days. That's a brutal conversion rate if you ask me. I've been talking about this concept I call mid-viral. It's way more effective than blowing up to everyone on the internet. When you go massively viral, you end up reaching huge audiences that don't actually connect with your music. Sure, they'll watch your video and maybe laugh, but they're not going to your Spotify and becoming real fans. You don't want attention from all the internet. You want it from people who understand what you're about. Let's just look at, say, Julia Wolf, who went viral within the Twilight fan community. Those people were already primed to like her shoegazy, Deftones influenced sound when they discovered her, since that's a culture around that music. It's way better to be in the position of an artist who gets 500,000 views from your target audience rather than 20 million views from people who see you as cringe, a joke, or just don't get what you do musically. Is the music business actually rigged? The artists at the very top, you know, the top 500 artists on Spotify, it's absolutely rigged. If you're trying to go from 3 million to 120 million monthly listeners, that requires playing ball with gatekeepers who control chart manipulation and industry connections. Labels have armies of fake accounts and playbooks for gaming the system. But if you're trying to go from 0 to 3 million monthly listeners where you can make a real living, that path is completely fair. The journey to sustainable success isn't rigged at all. Does posting 4 to 6 times a day on TikTok actually work for musicians? The band Pacific just answered this question with the most extreme experiment I've ever seen in my life. They demonstrated what I call the brute force method that most artists never try. Brute force means you stop trying to be strategic and you just straight up overwhelm the algorithm through pure volume of posting whatever comes to your mind and seeing if something breaks through. Pacific posted around 1,400 videos in 6 months with the same simple format every day. They racked up hundreds of millions of views, but that only converted to 2 million Spotify streams. If you're not targeting people who actually want your genre, most of those views won't convert into any listens. You probably have enough material to start playing live. Some of you say, I only have 20 minutes of material. I can't start playing live yet. Here's the thing. If you have a 20-minute set and perform well, and you can make some good visuals if that's your style, people will be excited to see you live. When you're first getting discovered and building a fan base and making an impression playing live shows, the smartest thing you can do is leave the audience wanting more, not saying, I wish this was over. Leaving people a little hungry can go a long way. A 20-minute set that is stacked with the best songs and a solid performance will do you way more good than a 35-minute set that drags and leaves people less than impressed as they wait to come to see the band that they really came to see. People are often relieved when the opener is a 20-minute solid great performance. Just think about how much more exciting it is to have an artist wow you with just a bunch of their best material than, when's this gonna be over? Nobody wants to talk about the real reason artists are pushing pre-saves. It's actually just a front to collect emails. Most artists, though, totally miss this. They think they have to push pre-saves because they see their favorite artists do this because it's going to help them in the algorithm. But that's not the primary goal. Artists want your email address because they can then upsell to you and hit you up every time they put out a new song or video and drive up those views so they go into the algorithm. That is the real key here. Not that this mystical pre-save thing that Spotify's not even paying attention to is going to really help you. And this is why you see artists like Doja Cat doing things like releasing their new single Crack as a free download on her website for 24 hours, since it gets her most engaged fans' email addresses and gives them something they really want. So giving away a song that your fans really want early as a download can get them engaged and get the emails of the people who are most likely to listen to your song right when it comes out, which can help build up your fan base from day one. You're fucking up if you're not on Threads. For those of you who tell me, I tried Threads once and it didn't do shit. Threads has consistently been one of the most downloaded apps on the iPhone and is the second most downloaded as I make this video. I'm seeing Threads blow up way more in the last few weeks than before. So I get it, you may have dipped your toe in and you didn't know what the waters were like, but I'm telling you, I'm watching artists grow on there every day and so many people doubt it.